Ready, Tucker? Ready, Tucker? Get it. I tell you, if it's not one thing, it's another with this truck. So now what I'm dealing with is this seal right here. This is the output shaft seal on the back of the transfer case. You know, where the drive shaft slides into the slip yoke there. This seal's off around it. Well, I noticed it was leaking to the point that it was actually dripping. So we put it on the rack and took this one out, and kind of, as usual, you always booger these things up when you're taking them out. But I was trying to find one of these, and you wouldn't believe how difficult it's been to find the seal. The auto parts stores can't get them. I ordered one from Rock Auto. It was the wrong seal. The dealerships that sell parts online, I couldn't find it. I searched and searched, couldn't find it. So eventually I came up with this part number right here, which there was a lot of strong clues that this was the part number, and I took that to the dealership and just walked into the service, or the parts department rather, and told them what I had going on, and they looked it up, and this digit right here was different than what they showed, but the rest of this part number allegedly is correct. So, you know, my truck's a 2019 XLT. I guess the same seal was probably used for a lot of model years, but if you have an output shaft seal failure on the back of your transfer case on one of these trucks, you can use that part number. I think this was a P instead of a 7 on their listing, but anyway, they did eventually find me one. At first they said there's only one warehouse in the whole country that has any of these. And then I told him, I was like, well, my truck is down. I really need to get my truck going. So he dug around a little more, and he discovered that there was a dealership in Louisville, Kentucky, which is not too far from me, that actually had one of them. So they got a guy to run it down here for me, down here to central Kentucky. So I'm gonna go pick up this new seal today. Hopefully the one they got me is the correct one. I think it is. And finally be able to get my truck back together. But I tell you, man, it's always a saga with this truck. Little bitty things, you know, nickel and dime stuff all the time. Yeah, I tell you, people always say that about the Ram trucks. They always say the Cummins engine will last forever, but the truck around it won't. Hey man, it's the same thing with these Ford trucks, I'm telling you. Here's the part number they came up with, and you can kind of see it's very, very slightly redesigned, but it's close enough that it should work. It actually looks a little bit more durable than the old one that was in there. So that's a good sign. So I had to remember to put it in neutral. So once I get it up in the air, we can spin the drive shaft to bolt it back down to the flange once it's up there. But I'll tell you one thing about these 2-post lifts, man. You don't have a whole lot of room once you open the door to squeeze yourself in and out of your vehicle. But wouldn't trade this thing for anything. I'm so glad that my dad put this in the garage, because we have used the heck out of this lift, man. It makes all the difference in the world. Well, she's up there. This lift right here is rated for 9,000 pounds, I think, but the truck is 8,000 pounds. So, I mean, it's within capacity, but it just, I don't know, it just scares me. It's sketchy. So we put these jacks here up underneath the rear, and I got one up under the front too, just to give it a little bit more support, because I don't know. I know professional mechanics do this all day, every day, but it just wigs me out. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what we got here. So Like I said, got the old one out. My dad has a seal puller, so he actually worked on this and got it out for me. I don't know what that right there is. See that? Not really sure what that is, but anyhow, so now we just got to put the new seal back in there. And like I said, finding the correct one was a pain. And then I got to go and clean all this stuff off the transfer case where it was leaking and blowing back on there so much. And I got some Mercon LV, so I'll top it off, make sure it's full again, and then put my fill plug back in, and we should be good to go. Looks like the new seal fits like a glove. Just got to find something big enough to slide over there now and tap it in. And I put the weep hole at the bottom, which I guess is what you're supposed to do, right? So now I just got to finish tapping it in and then top off the transfer case. Yet another repair done on the old Super Duty. Trying to get this 5075 out of here. Tight fit. I just saw a baby fawn down in the grass over there. That's something that we have to really watch for over here when you're mowing. And it's this tall. You gotta watch out for the little deer and fawns that hang out in the grass. And you know, sometimes they'll, oh, there she is right there. Right there she is, hiding from me. You can probably barely see her ears. Yeah, she's probably scared. And rightfully so. There she is. See her? That's what I'm saying, man. If they get down in the grass and you just cannot see them, so you got to take it easy on the tractor. Pops is going to take it out there and try it out real quick, helping out the neighbor. Now she's got two of those 5075 tractors, and then she's got an old 5410, I think. So she's got three of these tractors, and what she'll do is she'll hook up the mower to one of them, and then she'll hook the tether up to the other one, or hook the baler to the third one, you know, and then you don't have to swap out attachments all the time. Looks like it's doing all right to me. Now this stuff's it's not super tall right now, but you know, here it is August. Usually here in Kentucky, what the farmers will do is they'll get a cutting like around, say, Memorial Day maybe, or thereabouts, and then they'll do another cutting around Labor Day or thereabouts. If it's a really wet year, sometimes they can get 3 cuttings. But usually just get 2. So anyway, it's August right now, early August at that. Kind of early, but for some reason she wants to go ahead and try to cut and bale while the weather's nice this weekend. So always something to do out here. But I tell you, man, it sure is beautiful out here though. I don't know that I'd live anywhere other than Kentucky. It's just beautiful here. This has been one of the wettest years that we've had in a long time, and I think that's why there's so much Johnson grass popping up. We've got, in our residential yards, we've got a ton of crabgrass. I've never seen it proliferate like this before, and I guess it's just because of all the rain we've had. But man, I mean, look at all this Johnson grass. It's just taking over, man. And really, that's not what we ideally like to feed the livestock, you know. But What do you do about it though? I mean, look at that field over there. It's just covered up with Johnson grass. I don't know. Hopefully some of it will die out this winter, but it's almost impossible to get rid of that stuff unless you spend the big bucks on the very, very specialized herbicides. Yeah, so as far as the Super Duty goes, I guess it's just gotten to that point where it's just going to nickel and dime me. But anyhow, pretty soon what I'm going to do is give you some initial thoughts on these Yokohama GLender ATXD tires. Obviously, I'm nowhere near, you know, that first interval where I update you on how they're wearing and all that. But now that I've got a couple of weeks under my belt, I just wanted to give you some initial thoughts on these, because I do have plenty of initial thoughts on these tires. Some things that you need to know about them if you're looking at maybe buying these. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up pretty soon. But anyhow, as always, I appreciate you guys watching. We'll be back later. Thanks for watching.